welcome back to the Cheap Air Gunner channel. It's Cherokee Steve. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I am back and we are going to be testing a penetration test on the 3 pellets I recently placed an order for altogether. One is the Gamma Rocket, that is that hollow point type pellet with a BB in the center of the head. The Gamma PBA Raptor, very light pellet. We'll be checking the penetration on that. And the last one are the Excite Spike, an H&N inexpensive pellet with the pointed head. I am going to be doing a 4th. Back in the day, had suggested trying out these daisies and comparing these with the other pellets that I purchased. So I've got the book catalog, I should say. I've got a U-line catalog here, sectioned off into four sections, so that will take care of each of the 4 pellets. We'll see how far each one can penetrate page-wise. I'll try digging them out, and we will also compare deformation of the pellets. And just a reminder, as far as the giveaway for the barrel-mounted chronograph, the deadline for that is July 9th at 11:59 p.m. and I will be doing the drawing at some point the next day on Saturday, July 10th, and posting up the winner of the chronograph. And I will include information on how to get a hold of me so I can get the shipping information to ship that out to the lucky winner. But for right now, let's get to testing out the penetration of these pellets, okay? Let's get to it. First up will be the Gamma Rocket. I've already done accuracy testing and velocity testing, so this is simply going to be a shot into each section, corresponding section of the catalog downrange, and checking for penetration and deformation. This is a full fill on the KT-HPA. Let's check it out. As I said, this first one is the Gamma Rocket. The second pellet is going to be the Gamma PBA Raptor. This is a lead-free pellet, an alloy pellet that is coated with gold. Third pellet is the H&N Excite Spike, pointed head, lead pellet. And fourth, last, is this pointed Daisy 22 caliber. Had a feeling this was a harder lead, so it'll be interesting to see the penetration, especially against the PBA Raptor. All right, that's all 4 shots. Let me grab the catalog and let's see what each did, penetration-wise and deformation-wise. As far as penetration goes, the pellet that penetrated the farthest was the Daisy pointed pellet. And I probably can't see this, but I wrote down here, it penetrated 521 pages deep. Now it actually went from a nice round penetration hole to almost a slicing action of the pages. But I did find torn pages all the way up to 521. The next pellet that penetrated the farthest was the Gamma Rocket. Now that penetrated 505 pages. As far as penetrating, the third farthest was the H&N Spike. That went 467 pages. You probably can't see it, but I do have it written here. And the one that penetrated the least was the PBA Raptor. That penetrated 377 pages deep. Now, as far as deformation, I have them all lined up here. The Raptor, you can see, actually had some pretty nice deformation and good penetration. You can see here the BB. The lead kind of wrapped itself around that round head. So, as far as it doing what it's supposed to do, it does seem to do a pretty good job. It did a very good job of penetrating and deforming using that BB, I would say, to do some decent penetration, and the remainder of the pellet, the lead portion, deforming and doing a lot of damage. Now, unfortunately, these weren't the most accurate when I had tested the accuracy. But as far as penetrating and deforming, does a very decent job. The PBA Raptor, as you can see, here we go. It really didn't do much deforming at all. The shape is almost entirely intact. There's some of the gold plating that has rubbed off of the head, but other than that, it really stayed very much intact. Now, I didn't expect it to penetrate very deeply just based on the fact that it's a 9.8 grain pellet, very lightweight. Supposedly, the design of it and the plating, the gold plating, is supposed to increase the penetration, which compared to other non-lead / alloy pellets, it very well may be doing better penetration. Unfortunately, I don't have any other alloy 22 caliber pellets, so I don't have anything really to compare it against. The H&N Spike right here did the most deformation. It really flattened out dramatically, as these Excite pellets seem to be a very soft lead. That penetrated the third most, but obviously, as you can tell, it's not going to penetrate as far once it deforms as much as it does, which is the most out of any of the pellets that I tested. Now, one of the things I can't really compare that against, or any of the other pellets against, is the Daisy. I actually did not find the pellet. I found a fragment of the pellet, a very small piece of it. Unfortunately, I was not able to come across the pellet in any type of deformed shape within the book. It just didn't seem to be there. I retraced my steps back to the downrange target that I was shooting at to see if it had dropped out, and I don't see it anywhere. But once again, this did penetrate the farthest out of all the pellets. Weight-wise, it is a decent weight pellet. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. I will try to look that up and add that into the video. But it did penetrate quite a bit. So, concentrating on those 3 pellets, penetration-wise, the Gamma Rocket, out of these 3, penetrated the farthest. It really, unfortunately, if it were a more accurate pellet, it really seems to do what it's designed to do as far as penetrating and deforming. Great combination of the two. If the accuracy was better, that really would be a pellet I would not have any issues using for hunting. Once again, these pellets, the Raptors, I bought just to see what kind of velocity I could get out of something so light. Obviously, it is not deforming. It penetrates the least. It's not something I would use as far as a hunting pellet. But once again, as far as deforming, these H&N Excites really seem to just completely mushroom out, and probably would be a very devastating impact type of hunting pellet. So, in summary, again, the pellet I would reach for first out of these 3 if I was going out and hunting would be the H&N Excite Spike. They did have good accuracy when I had tested the accuracy. They give decent penetration, not as good as penetration as the Gamma Rockets, but that's in large part due to how much they deform. They mushroom out quite a bit, very soft lead, probably would do a lot of damage on whatever particular game you were shooting at with it. Unfortunately, again, I'm really impressed with the penetration and the deformation of the Gamma Rockets. If it was a more accurate pellet, that would probably be the one I would reach for first, prior to the H&N. But when I tested the accuracy, it really wasn't that great. And as I suspected, as far as the PBA Raptors, that is something that is just a fun type of pellet for, getting a kick out of seeing some super high velocity number off of your chronograph. It's not something I would reach for as a hunting pellet. It doesn't deform very well. It's too light to do any serious penetration. And once again, it's a very expensive pellet. So it's not something unless it really performed the way a hunting pellet was supposed to perform, it's not something I would reach for at any given time other than to get a kick out of seeing a super high velocity number off of my chronograph. So that concludes the penetration deformation part of this recent pellet purchase. Gamma Rockets, the Gamma PBA Raptors, and the H&N Excite Spike pellets, with the daisy pointed pellets thrown in. Once again, I did get in some JBS Hades. I have not done any shooting with those. I look forward to doing that and doing some testing with those. And I really look forward to doing and concluding this chronograph giveaway. So make sure you get entered for that. And until the next time, you guys stay safe and shoot safe.